Welcome to Golden Stories, where silence can be deadlier than shouting and karma has perfect timing. Today's story, The Careless Insult, The Quiet Storm. It started in the sleek glass office of a multinational firm, all chrome, pride, and polished egos. Brandon, a senior manager with a jawline sharp enough to cut through common sense, leaned back in his chair as a new consultant walked in. Her name was Dr. Tiana Moore, calm and composed, her skin glowing with quiet confidence. Brandon didn't bother to stand. "You're early," he said with a smirk, voice dripping with arrogance. "Didn't expect people like you to be this punctual." The room went still. A few coworkers looked up from their laptops, unsure if they'd heard him right. Tiana simply smiled, that slow, unbothered kind of smile that makes silence feel heavy. Brandon mistook it for weakness. "Relax, sweetheart," he added, waving his hand like shooing a waiter. "We'll keep the heavy stuff for the professionals." He laughed at his own joke, the kind only he found funny. Tiana took her seat without a word, opened her laptop, and began typing calmly. The others avoided her gaze, but there was something electric in the air, like the room itself knew a storm was forming behind those steady eyes. If you're enjoying this story so far, hit that like button and subscribe, because this storm is only warming up. The next morning, the company auditorium was filled. Brandon strutted in, adjusting his tie like he owned the air itself. He'd bragged the night before at the bar, said the new diversity hire tried to correct him in a meeting. "She'll learn how things work here," he'd told anyone with a drink in hand. But when he entered that room, his smirk began to tremble. On stage stood Dr. Tiana, elegant in an ivory suit, poised behind the podium with the microphone already on. "Good morning, everyone," she began, her tone calm but cutting through the chatter like glass through silk. "I'm honored to be here. As the founder and principal investor of this firm." The room froze. Brandon's face lost all color. You could hear his confidence shatter. The same people who'd laughed at his jokes last night suddenly found the floor fascinating. Tiana continued, "Yesterday, I was spoken to in a way that revealed more than words ever could. It reminded me why I built this company, to prove what respect looks like when power has no color." Her eyes flicked to Brandon for just a heartbeat, but it was enough to turn him to stone. The quiet storm had struck, and the man who sneered now drowned in his own silence. The fall had only begun, and the cameras were already rolling for what came next. If you're hooked, like and subscribe. The next 48 hours tore through the company like a wildfire. HR called an emergency meeting. Brandon, now pale and shaky, tried to charm his way through it, the same fake confidence that once fooled everyone. But this time, charm was currency that no longer spent. The CEO, a tall woman with gray streaks of wisdom in her hair, read from a crisp file, her voice steady. "According to company policy, discriminatory behavior will be addressed transparently." Tiana sat beside her, composed as ever, fingers interlaced. "Transparency," she said softly, "means we don't hide lessons behind closed doors." The words fell like a verdict. A week later, the company-wide hearing went live, streamed to every branch office. Brandon walked in like a man facing his own reflection for the first time. The HR director read his comments aloud. Every word he thought would vanish into office air. Colleagues who once laughed with him now testified. The snide jokes, the dismissive tone, the quiet sabotage. Each story stacked higher until even he couldn't look up. Then came the blow. His name, permanently attached to the recording, flagged in the company's open ethics archive. It would follow him forever, a ghost with perfect memory. When Tiana finally spoke, her words were simple. "You said respect is earned. I agree, and accountability earns it back." If you're feeling that sweet justice, don't forget to like and subscribe. By Monday morning, Brandon's name wasn't just trending inside the company, it was trending everywhere. The manager who mocked his boss became a headline that aged like poison. He'd been suspended, but Tiana had something far more surgical planned. "Termination is too easy," she told HR. "Let him learn what he mocked." So began his 6-month sentence, restorative justice, corporate style. Day one, Brandon, once king of the corner office, now sat behind the customer support desk, headset crooked, voice trembling as he said, "Thank you for calling. How may I help you?" The irony was cinematic. Every rude caller reminded him of himself. Every frustrated customer mirrored the disrespect he once dished out. Next came the education modules, mandatory sessions on diversity, empathy, and workplace ethics, all led by people he'd ignored or talked over. He had to present weekly reflections to the same staff he'd looked down on. The humiliation wasn't just public, it was transformative. Then the final blow, his apology, recorded, signed, and distributed to every corporate partner, paired with a donation program he had to personally oversee for minority scholarships. His smile in that video was tight but real, the face of a man stripped bare and rebuilt. When it aired, Tiana watched quietly, sipping her tea. Justice wasn't revenge, it was restoration, and she delivered it perfectly. This has been Golden Stories, where karma always finds her voice. Like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful tales.